Aroha mai whānau. I don't mean to bomb your feeds with my views on the Therapeutic Products Bill, but I feel there's a heap of stuff around the bill that is not being shared with us. And so hopefully this will be my last video. The Health Select Committee released their report on the Therapeutic Products Bill on June the 13th. Having read all 250 plus pages of the Health Select Committee report, including their recommendations to the government, I'm lost for words, at least any I'm prepared to share publicly. I will start by reiterating that Rongoā Māori is not a natural health product or a medical device. Reclassifying our taonga as NHPs and as medical devices is a deliberate attempt to circumvent Crown obligations to Māori and Te Tiriti. Yet again, it would appear that the Crown, and especially the Health Select Committee, have not acted on a single word we painstakingly shared with them in both written and oral submissions. Despite being overwhelmingly united in our many responses on the matter of how Rongoā is being treated in the bill. The National Party noted their concerns about the regulation of Rongoā without an opportunity to consider the report back from the working group, exploring the impact of the bill on Rongoā. This is despite access to the Ministry of Health's impact summary statement and numerous public submissions being made available to the committee. If they were genuine in opposing the treatment of Rongoā in the bill, they would have heeded the submissions by Māori on the matter and referred to the ministry's own internal impact statement on Rongoā. They didn't need another report to take a position of principle on whether or not Māori have rangatira rights over their own taonga and whether or not this bill acknowledges that. The Māori Party objections to the recommendations of the Select Committee were conspicuous by their absence in the report. The only Select Committee member to object to the recommendations in the report was Dr. Elizabeth Tiriti. The report reads, the continued exclusion of Rongoā Māori within the regulatory and compliance requirements of the bill remains a significant concern. Regulating even the components or ingredients used in Rongoā contradicts the recognition of Rongoā as a taonga tuku iho and its protected status as guaranteed under Te Tiriti o Waitangi. Te Puni Kōkiri, Te Ako Whaiora, and a significant cohort of tangata whenua, including tohunga Rongoā and Rongoā practitioners, have clearly and articulately expressed their opposition to the bill's application to Rongoā. Unless the bill is amended to specifically prevent it applying to Rongoā of any form, Dr. Tiriti cannot support the bill. Going back to the report itself, the report does not support or even mention statements with regard to Rongoā made in the minister's statements released on the same day. In fact, the committee's proposed revisions to the bill still do not mention the words Rongoā or rangatiratanga. Nor do they mention Te Tiriti in its own right, only two brief references to the principles associated with the treaty. They are not the same thing, whānau, and unlike Te Tiriti, the principles do not guarantee Māori rangatiratanga over our taonga or self-determination. The committee have failed to recognise the Crown's distinct and enduring obligations to Māori. They do not recommend the exclusion of Māori from the reaches of the bill. They do not even recognise Rongoā. Their recommendations do not enable or protect Rongoā. In fact, their recommendations do not even refer to the establishment of the so-called Māori advisory talked about by the ministers. If the Crown failed to recognise Māori rights of rangatiratanga over our taonga as guaranteed in Te Tiriti o Waitangi, or reconfirm that nothing in the Therapeutic Products Bill shall apply to Rongoā prior to the election and enactment of the bill, the minister's rhetoric in their recent press release is at worst a deliberate effort to distract us from the real issue of rangatiratanga, or at best, little more than another empty promise not worth the paper it was written on. There is no doubt in my mind now, whānau, we are being played and taken for fools. There is no protection of Rongoā in the bill, nor is it recommended to do so in the Health Committee's recommended revisions to the bill. What we need to do now, whānau, is to imagine a better world, to remember that nothing the Crown imposes on us today could be worse than what they did to our parents and our grandparents. And we are here to carry on. We should continue to practice with integrity and care in service to all people and the taiao, as we have been taught to do. Do not be tempted to takahi the mana of each other in pursuit of values that are not ours. Haere tonu whānau, let's show them another way, irrespective of the law. Kia tau te rangi Māori e, pai Māori re.